At 47 with 3 kids, a complicated beauty routine just isn't realistic. And to be honest, I don't think it's necessary. Some of the habits that have made the biggest difference in my skin, hair, and overall appearance have been surprisingly small. And a few of them are a bit unconventional. None of these are miracle fixes, but they're just simple things that have made enough of a difference for me personally that I have stuck with them. I'm not trying to look 20 years younger or erase time, but simply be the best version of who I am today. A few of these surprised me, especially the weird thing I do first thing in the morning, as well as a tiny makeup trick that I won't leave the house without, which I will share with you at the very end. I do use proven at-home treatments like a red light therapy mask, as well as retinoids. I'm not gonna go into those today. I did review my red light mask. You can check that out right here if you're interested. Hello friends, welcome. Let's dive right in. This first habit is probably the strangest one on the list, and I'm not here to tell you it's going to erase your wrinkles or permanently change your skin. But when I wake up looking puffy or tired, this brings one of the biggest visible changes to my face. And that is giving my face an ice water bath. Why does this help? Cold is known to temporarily constrict blood vessels in your skin. It also temporarily reduces swelling and edema. So that's why cold is often used for depuffing. For me, when I wake up really puffy and then I put makeup on, I feel like it makes me look a lot older. So this has been a fantastic routine for me. It is so simple. I simply get out a bowl. I put in about 10 to 12 ice cubes in some cold water. I let it sit just enough to make it nice and cold. You do want to be careful with this, especially if you have sensitive skin. You might not want to make it quite so cold. But then I will just take a deep breath, dunk my face in, and hold it in that nice cold water until I need to come up for air. I will do this about 3 to 4 times, and that's it. I feel like this really helps with that puffiness under my eyes, and it also is really refreshing. I absolutely love doing this. This next one is not groundbreaking, but how and when I moisturize has made a big difference. As we age, I feel like moisturizing our skins is so important for giving a little more of a dewy, plump look as we tend to get a little more dry, rather than leaving my skin to completely dry after washing it or putting on my actives. I will immediately put the moisturizer right on my damp skin. I feel like this leaves my skin more moist and dewy and youthful looking. Why does this work? Moisturizers can help us reduce the loss of water from the outer layers of our skin. So applying the moisturizer on top of your damp skin kind of traps that moisture in before it all evaporates. This keeps the skin barrier a little more hydrated and the appearance of a little more dewy, fresh looking skin. I honestly do a double moisturizer to really lock in that moisture. I love Cerave products. I will link below the ones I use, but I will go in with a lighter weight one, and then I will go in with a little more of a heavyweight moisturizer on top. This next habit has to do with my hair. And if someone told me to do this 3 years ago, I would have resisted it and said, that's not gonna work for me. However, I am learning to wash my hair less. I used to wash my hair every single day. A few years ago, I noticed a lot of hair loss in the shower. My hair got a lot thinner and it's already really thin, and I was struggling so much to get it healthy. So I started washing it less. Now I'm washing it like 2 or 3 times a week. Now I'm going to be very clear here. Washing your hair less isn't necessarily going to make your hair automatically more healthy. And you have to follow what's good for your scalp and hair and your routine. This is just my personal experience. But what I do know is that when I wash it, that equals more styling and brushing and heat, blow drying. And I know all of that can make my hair a little more brittle and dry. By washing it less, I'm simply reducing some of the heat and manipulation that I'm applying to my hair. I have learned simply to use a dry shampoo that works really, really good for me each day. And then when I get to like that 3rd day, if I want to use a tiny bit of heat, just run a flat iron once through the very top layer, can kind of freshen it a little bit with the dry shampoo. And I will take a comb and I will just brush through that top layer. And it smooths everything out and blends it, and it doesn't make it look greasy. And then obviously that day I will put it back because that's really the only way to manage it and make it still look good. But what I've found is that when I do wash it, then it's so much more fresh and happy and shiny and has a lot more bounce to it. And my hair feels like it did 10 years ago when I felt like it was really healthy. Have any of you guys struggled with trying to extend your washes? I'm curious to hear how you've done with it and if you have any tricks that work for you. Leave it in the comments if so. This next tip is another pretty unconventional one, and that is using castor oil on my lashes and my eyebrows before I go to bed. I'm not here to claim that castor oil magically makes your eyelashes grow longer. I have very short, straight eyelashes, unfortunately, but what I was noticing was that I would have chunks of them just break off, where I would have my regular length lashes and then I would go to put my mascara on and there were these whole chunks that were like half the length. And it was so frustrating to me because I don't have a lot to work with to begin with. So I started using the castor oil before bed, and honestly, I don't think I've had any noticeable breakage since then. So why does that work? Castor oil is rich in fatty acids and acts like an emollient. It operates similar to putting conditioner in your hair. So this should reduce dryness, friction, and ultimately breakage. Think of it as lash conditioning, not lash growth serum. So how I apply this is you can get a disposable spoolie and actually apply it like a mascara. I'm too lazy for that. So all I do is right before I turn my light out, I pump a little bit on my hand and I just take my fingers and I just wipe it and blink through that oil until I feel like it's coated my lashes. And then I just run the rest of it through my eyebrows. I would recommend doing this right before you go to bed because some of the oil can kind of get in your eyes and it makes it a little hard to see things, which does wash out immediately in the morning when I wash my face, but it is a little bit annoying if you're trying to read something. Of course, with anything that you're using near your eyes, certainly be careful because oils can sometimes irritate certain people. Before I go on to the next tip, if you enjoy style and beauty content like this, consider subscribing below. I post videos often. This next habit, it was one I never thought about when I was younger and I wish I had. And that is using a pillow designed to take the pressure off the sides of your face. A few years ago, I noticed when I looked in the mirror that the lines under my eyes and on the sides here on my left side were much more pronounced than they were on the right side. And as I thought about it, I realized that I sleep on my left side. Now, I embrace wrinkles and aging, and that's a part of life, but I didn't want to have uneven wrinkles. As we lose elasticity with age, then as all the weight of our head pushing up against our face all night can really leave those lines. A few years ago, I switched out my pillow and I found one that helps you to train to sleep on your back and gives you these sides to lean on. I will show it here. And it took a little adjusting to kind of switch how I sleep. I still sometimes do a little bit on the side, but it's more partially versus the full weight of my head on the pillow each night. Once in a while at night, I will be really restless and I'll just ditch that pillow and sleep fully on my side. And the mornings that I get up after I do that, those creases are so much more pronounced. This isn't magically gonna remove those wrinkles, but reduce that repeated facial compression. The one I have, I think maybe discontinued. I will link similar ones below. This next habit is probably the least surprising on my list, but if I was going to choose one from this whole list, this would be the one I would prioritize because there's so much research backing it up that it helps reduce some of the signs of aging. And that is to wear sunscreen every single day. Rainy days, snowy days, sunny days, days that I'm indoors, I am religious about putting my sunscreen on because we're getting those UV rays all the time. We all know that exposure to the sun causes premature wrinkles, pigmentation, and dark spots in our skin, and by wearing sunscreen, we can reduce a lot of those. And additionally, of course, it helps prevent skin cancer as well. I wish I had started this so much sooner also. I have actually 3 that I use and I love. They are mineral sunscreens. I'm not gonna go a deep dive into this, but the one that is my favorite is a little pricey, but it's incredible and wears well under makeup. And then these other 2 I combine because one's kind of drying and the other one's a little bit oily and greasy. So together they're a nice combination. This is just something that is worth creating a habit out of. And this next habit is a tiny makeup trick that I honestly won't leave the house without. This is one of those tiny visual adjustments that just makes me look a little more awake and a little more youthful. Because I use a lot of moisturizer and sunscreen, my face can look quite dewy. And I notice that when the sun hits that or the light, it reflects off of those under eye bags and creases and can just make me look more tired and a little bit older. I will always take a very finely milled face powder. It needs to be finely milled because otherwise it's just going to make you look older because it's going to get cakey. But I will put it on like a little puff. I will blot off most of it so there's just a little bit left. And then I will just press it right on those few spots, not my whole face, where I have those defined creases. And then I leave the rest of it more dewy so it looks more fresh and youthful. It makes my skin look much more smooth and it detracts from the light reflecting on those lines that are not my favorite. And I absolutely love this trick. So I thought I would share it with you guys in case it could be helpful for you. I will also link below the powder that I love. It is drugstore price, so it's affordable and it works terrific. I hope at least one of these small habits that I do might be something that you can apply to your daily routine and it might make you feel just a little more put together and a little fresher each day. If any of these were helpful to you, please leave it in the comments. Give this video a like. I really appreciate that. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.